Hello and welcome to PBCJ Presents, our weekly current affairs discussion series. It is here that we take a deep dive into issues affecting Jamaica land we love. I'm your host, Maya Chung. This episode, we look at the state of boxing in the nation. And joining me on that topic is the head of the Jamaica Boxing Board, Stephen Bomber Jones. Stephen, before the break, we were looking at the fact that Jamaica has broken ground. We are now able to home grow future champions, basically. I'm a Jamaican, I'm a real Jamaican. You have people who just will not leave their community. They won't go to a church, they won't go to a work. It could change your life. I'm not leaving Rockford for love nor money, and it has elements of the danger, right? So we could be eroding fundamental divisiveness that is keeping Jamaica stunted in all areas, not just sport, right?
I subscribe to that completely, and I believe we have to start from the grassroots level. I believe that those that are entrenched in that mindset, they may not leave, but they will support in terms of, like I said, it's a village, so they'll support their youth in the sport because one, it's not going to take them long to become recognized. Once you're in the program, you'll be on TV, you'll be in the newspaper, you'll be bringing
Mr. Popularity and Miss Popularity.
And all ages, because the good thing about the shows.
Positive reinforcement.
And you get to be on the same show as a top level boxer, as a grassroots boxer. So you are, you will be a novice boxer, but the opening fight
have a
for,
flavor.
The opening fight for what's going to be the main event. But all of it will be captured. And you bring recognition to your community, and it carries. So I mean,
and it builds self-esteem.
Yes,
Self-esteem in the individual in groupthink must magnetize something positive.
I agree with that. So that's where we're going. So I think if we get from the grassroots, then it'll be easier. The grassroots level ones will leave and say, the mindset we started from there. But once it is that they recreate first a safe structure at home, and a safe structure in all the communities that we go to, and a welcoming invitational one, so that we can build. So it may take a little while.
It's going to take a while.
But we have to start.
But as long as they're willing to do the work. Yeah. So where are we with corporate Jamaica and sponsorship? What are you able to tell us at this point?
That they are on board. We should be having our first show, proper show, televised show, boxing again, starting next month, and one every 6 weeks from that, and so with that now, but like I say, it's not a tournament style like it end up with. It's a journey where we will be following the careers of boxers. So each boxer will be introduced to the country. You'll have press conferences to say so and so will be fighting. The first fight, I think, we have a boxer who is 2-0. One of my favorite boxers in terms of charisma, a guy, Jermaine Richard, as they call him, Breezy.
I met Breezy. Breezy is the bomb.
And so I think he would, he's training, right?
I saw him at Stanley Couch training. And he's very driven. Yeah.
So I think given the opportunity, he's wanted opportunities, as many other boxers do, as all the boxers do. We just haven't been able to tell them when. And I think now that, like you said, because of the fanfare going through social media, through YouTube.
Yeah, it's kind of like prime time, the right time, because the audience, you have boxers in training as young as 11 here at Sugar and other places, and they're all hooked into social media. If you even get a training video from your boxing as an 11-year-old, 12-year-old, you fling that up on your TikTok, you're popular. Them good vibes are very necessary and very needed.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is really a great time to be involved in boxing in Jamaica.
And it is. And the thing is, in fairness to the boxers, that they have done their part. The coaches and the boxers, they've been coming to the gyms. They've been doing the counseling. They've been doing the mentorship.
I've been following and
staying
I've
out
seen
of trouble.
it.
And like I said, GC Foster being our latest hub for Spanish Town. They have their activity down there. So,
can you outline some of the GC Foster activities, or it just mimics the same thing?
So the good thing for us with GC Foster, the institution that it is, they have classrooms. So we not only are able to do the hub for the gloves over guns, but as the affiliation with the Boxing Association, they agreed for us to have that as one of our third national gym. So we have Stanley Couch, we have Montego Bay, and then we have GC Foster. So
Three national gyms.
Three national gyms that under the boxing board we are responsible for in terms of saying, okay, this is where our subvention goes towards. And so GC Foster were able to train our officials. So we had a recent referee and judge course where we had 30 new.
So it's not just the boxers, you're training referees, you're training judges, and you're training coaches.
We have medical teams sometimes that we have them, but we do this through when AIBA is doing. AIBA sometimes will.
The more you explain to me, is the wider the scope becomes visible to me, because I'm an uninitiate, and this is really interesting because I spoke of economic activity. Economic activity means being a boxing coach. You could do that anywhere in Jamaica, a primary school, a prep school, a medic can work in any health environment. So it really has a lot of spillovers that are beneficial. It's not just keeping kids out of crime and the actual events themselves. It really, if we decide as a nation to carry this, we can carry it very, very far.
We're going to carry it very, very far.
Yeah.
I do believe what I've seen.
I support that.
With sport, we build it and they come. People just need to.
You can imagine if we churn out all 10 more McCallum and Berbick, like within 2 years.
The only reason. So
I have to imagine, because you know more than me.
It will take. So by 2 years, you'll know who they are. 2 years, each boxer that, like I said, I believe we have at least 6 boxers that should be by then at least 14-2 or 16-0 or whatever it is. So the WBA, they have said to us that they will give us the same blueprint that Nicholas Walters took, right? So Nicholas Walters, when he went to Panama, when he became 8-0, they have him fight for like a WBA Fed-Caribe belt. So it's a small belt, but it's a WBA belt, sanctioned belt. When they get to like 14-0 or 12-2, or when you get the opportunity once the belt is open, they get to fight for WBA Fed Latina belt, right? And then once you hold that belt, you become in the top 15 in the WBA. So every fight after that leads towards a championship, But that to get 15 fights and 16 fights is going to take about 2 years, 2.5 years. So by that time, by 1 year, you'll know who the boxers are that have talent.
Who to watch.
Because remember that they will be in the paper weekly. They'll be on TV as how fights are done now. The fights will be promoted, like saying in 6 weeks, like how we do it. It's like looking for the Mayweather Pacquiao. It's weeks in advance that you see everybody seeing them training. So that's how we're going to be doing the shows here now. And so after 3 years now, once we have one person win a title, right, there'll be somebody else that's coming up to do another one, and it's just going to be a pipeline of boxers.
It sounds fantastic.
So
we have to take a break at this point. I am talking to Stephen Bomber Jones at the Sugar Knockout Boxing Gym in Olympic Gardens. The topic on PBCJ Presents is the state of boxing in Jamaica. Stay tuned.
Immerse yourself in the elegance and charm of the Courtly Hotel and Suites. Enjoy our jerk barbecue night by the poolside each Wednesday, or celebrate your special events for your wedding, anniversary, birthday, or just a relaxing weekend getaway. Unique, personalized, inviting. The Courtly Hotel and Suites.
Welcome back. You're watching PBCJ Presents. I'm your host, Maya Chung. The topic this week is the state of boxing in Jamaica. My guest is Stephen Bomber Jones, head of the Jamaica Boxing Board. So, Stephen, the pipeline is being manifested. All right. What will it look like in terms of persons? All right. What I tend to see is sometimes you plan for 10 things, but you have a snowball effect because there's a dearth of opportunities in jobs, there's a dearth of opportunities in sport. Suppose, is there any way that this could be oversubscribed, where people are running down on you? You only have 3 gyms, and Jamaicans are looking for opportunities.
So
Have you made a contingency plan?
So we have 3 national gyms.
National,
so you
yeah,
have
national.
gyms like so Sugar's gym is not a national gym.
Right, so I could come here.
You can, so you have, like I said, we when we go into communities, our biggest resource for that we consider gym is actually human resource. So we have activity in Denham Town Community Center. We are affiliated with the Jamaica Defense Force, through the Gloves Over Guns. So their soldiers and their Major Henry, their boxing officer, he's played a huge part. And so some of the JDF soldiers will help in the mentorship. You have Major Speed that is in Denham Town that is doing actually the coaching. Right?
So there's no scope for oversubscription. All who can and can be accommodated.
So they'll find.
We'll find a way.
They'll find a way. What they're looking for the boxing board is sanctioned bouts.
Officially
because
sanctioned.
it's just so that it can be that one coach could have one boxer that he is working with, right? And if he turns that boxer, right, into a champ, we give him a platform where he can use that. Whether it is that he turned from amateur, but when he goes pro, he can build his record. Then they can go all the way. We give them the opportunity. Like I said, it's not exclusive to any one promoter. So
that's why I asked about oversubscription, because once it's not exclusive or otherwise hard to get into, we're looking for opportunities. So it's good to know that we're prepared.
That won't be a bad problem to have, what I find. So we'll have, starting next month, we'll have at least 8 shows a year. Okay? Every 6 weeks, it leads up to 8 shows. I figure what's going to happen though, those 8 shows are quickly going to become 12 shows.
That's what I was thinking, hearing you talk, yes.
So we have 8 shows that we will be responsible for in terms of with corporate Jamaica, but then we also are in conversation with promoters overseas that want to do their own shows here. And so those will be happening interspersed in between ours. I think in terms of oversubscription, when we do speak, we have it now as a pro-am card where we have like 6 amateur bouts and 2 pro bouts. I think what's going to happen is that 2 pro bouts are quickly going to become 3 and 4, because they're going to have more.
I can see it, and I'm not even a part of the boxing board.
Yeah, so that's what's going to happen, and then we'll have to facilitate that. And we want more than 4 bouts, more 4 pro bouts on a card, but we'll facilitate everything.
You will have facilities. The other day, the JDF restarted its military boxing championships 2023. This had been cut into by the COVID pandemic. You were there. Give us the scoop.
So the scoop is they start right back off where they left. The JDF has the most organized, not surprising, being the
JDF, yes.
They have the most organized boxing show, not only here, but anywhere else I go. I haven't seen, their shows are on point. To the T, to the time, to the official, everything is,
The sports minister was there.
She was. And Denzel Wilkes from the SDF and other, but being JDF, the Military Boxing Championships, is a calendar item that they all look forward to. And like I say, it was on hold for 2 years, so they're back now. So they had a lot of novice boxers this time because novice boxers are boxers that have less than 5 fights. So the quality of fights, the heart was there. The heart, they definitely have the heart, but the quality of fight will build more.
Rebuild.
And
that is to be understood against the background that we are contending with, especially, anything outside of the organization and the fact that, yes, it did impact the quality of fighters. Anything else that you would commend about the JDF military championships that occurred the other day? One thing I saw, okay, you
in
first.
In fairness to them, the novice boxers that I say were there aren't the only boxers that they have. We have one of our better boxers is actually a part of the JDF. We have some elite boxers that are very, very good. That, one was Jerome Ennis was actually away, in Azerbaijan. I think it was for the World Championships.
Wow.
And he did very, very well there in terms of his showing. Didn't get the win.
A lot of people don't understand in sport that you don't actually have to win the race. It's how you improve over the arc of your career, your development, your showing is very important, right?
And amateur boxing is on point in terms of where it is that you could look like two people in the ring in amateurs. One looked like him get the more licks but still win the fight because he scored. And, you know, he got harder hits but he scored more points. You know what I mean? So I find a lot of our boxers go through that. You know,
They
and that's
can
just
go the
because
distance.
they hurt the other people but they don't score as well because we don't have as much activity that we are, where we may have 12 to 15 fights, they're going against people that have 80 to 90, you know.
So we have to work on increasing the number of our fights.
So this is where what we're starting back again for shows once we, you know, we're still the Caribbean, so I mean, you know, we're still, you know, competing against first world countries that have shows every week.
And probably have more developed facilities and, you know, quite a few things, but we have prevailed in worse circumstances. One positive that I saw was the female boxers, because I kept looking at every gym I've been going to, and in the military boxing championships, I saw the ladies. What is the plan for the ladies? Is it special, different from the males, or a boxer is just a boxer? Because I want to see more female representation, and I'm sure women watching, tell us about that.
So in all the gyms now we have females coming in, which is good. And the Olympics, the fastest growing aspect of any sport was female boxing. You know, from 2016, I think it was. That's when they first introduced it. When it started, and it was the fastest growing area of the sport. So not just here, but gyms worldwide, they're having a lot of females, but we have our female boxers you watch, and I'm not biased, but they're hot, you know. I mean, even them training in the gym, I think it inspires the guys to level up, you know. So I mean, it is that I think we're all going to be an all-encompassed in the sport, and the timing is right, and we're about to just make a lot of waves in terms of where we're going here now and what we're about to launch off with, male and female.
All right, we would have seen the sports minister at the military boxing championships, which our sports minister is very hardworking and she supports. And there are a myriad of sports that she's behind and she's pushing, and COVID, the pandemic, affected them all. Where would you like to see some more government intervention in terms of development of the things you've been talking about thus far?
Ultimately for me, right, because like I said, the minister works very hard, and she's very available, and she's very supportive, right? So for us as a board now, right, we do things one step at a time. So once we get the activity going again, and the community is very much involved, and we see now we're coming from this area where we see things organically. Ultimately for me, when boxing is in schools, all schools, right, then we'll say, okay, the sport is fully here.
Are we far from that?
I don't think so. You know what? The good thing is, after COVID, so we've reached out to, from before, we've reached out to schools before, we've reached out to ISA and said this is what we'd like to do, we'd like to get in. We just haven't been able to tell them exactly how the direction that we'd get in, you know what I mean, in terms of funding or however it is, but we do know that we'd like to be in schools. So what we find now, though, since we've been doing these community shows, a lot of it is high school children coming in. A lot of the kids coming after school programs are all in schools, and we've been having principals come to us now. So after COVID, one of the prevailing prayers, I thought, which is surprising, we've gotten calls where several principals have said to us that the conflict resolution has become an issue since they've come back face to face. Right? They're seeing, especially with girls, they're seeing that there are a lot of children fighting in schools, right? Since they had returned, you know, I mean, for things that and they're surprised that the children that are fighting, it's like their fuse has been short, you know, the 2 years that they were off from going.
There was a fallout in mental health, you know, and these are young children who were being molded in just the average way, and then here comes this world changer, world beater. So it's not that far for me to comprehend that now some of them are paddling and they don't even know where they're paddling. And school is typically in Jamaica for academics, so I can see that, and I've heard about it as well. And so, they're hiding the addictions in primary school age children for pornography, much less.
Yes. So they were saying that they were just, so they reached out because a couple of them have seen some of our children actually shift to from just being a part of this. So I think we're closer we're closer than not in terms of getting boxing in schools, right? But not in all schools. So I'm thinking that if we get 8 to 12 schools, the minute we have boxing in like 12 schools, because we have boxing in several schools now, but once we have 8 to 12 schools, then we're going to do a high school boxing championship. And once we do a high school boxing championship, you know how we are in high school, right? You know how we are there, all the schools are going to be saying, hold on there. Oh, and I think that's what we're going to go out and do it organically.
Boxing champs,
yeah,
wow.
That's what we,
to compete with, yes.
So if it is that we can get through ministries of sport and education in this program,
that sounds like a fantastic way forward, don't it?
That would change everything.
I was invited to attend the JDF Boxing Championship. I love boxing.
Excellent.
And I thought, wow, I've never been to the boxing championship of the JDF, and I want to come and see, you know, what it's like to see these armies engaged in this sport. And I'm really pleasantly surprised. They have a huge crowd, a huge turnout. Everybody's into it. The usual excitement at boxing, you know, some people say, lick him, and so and they're all cheering for their favorite contestant. But I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The Chief of Defense Staff is here. Brigadier Lloyd, senior officers are here. It seemed like everybody is here. And it's a big event for the Jamaica Defense Force. And it is good to see them engaging in a sport that Jamaica's done very well internationally. And I think some of the JDF soldiers have participated in international boxing championships and have done well. And so they're helping to keep the sport alive and to identify the talent. And I'm happy that I'm here and I'm happy that this is happening. I noticed there are a lot of young people here, and what is happening shows that they are motivated and they will be inspired to go into professional boxing.
Thank you very much.
I mean, the participation and the involvement is so intense. Very intense. And I'm also impressed that women are boxing too, which is what makes it so fantastic. You know, so it's not just about the men, it's also about the women.
If it were that you could give advice to people watching this particular program within the schools before we reach to where we're aiming for, what would that advice be as it relates to the sport?
So the good thing, what I've seen in terms of, it's easier for me to speak of boxing school now, because when I did it several years ago, we were given pushback thinking that it's a dangerous sport.
That's what I was thinking.
So they're thinking that.
But they have martial arts.
But you know what they relate to? They keep going back to, look at Muhammad Ali. They're not seeing it, so I'm saying what happened, the good thing is, I like that they use that as an example, but that's from Muhammad Ali was in 1970, the rules that have changed in not just boxing, in all sports, right?
Yes.
You don't see things like that, so especially amateur boxing, which is what high school boxing would be. The goal of the official is to protect the boxers. They're not allowed to fight until once you get a hit, you stop and you count. But it's a discipline. So they've now shifted, right? Because they've watched and I've said, let's watch and see. It's not about fighting, right? They're saying one, it was dangerous, and two, we're teaching them to fight. And I said, look at the fact that there are no boxers that you see out here giving trouble. You look, they're all the ones in the gym. You don't have any. They're not fighting.
I spoke to Fred them and Hercules, and they said the more they train and the more they are aware of the damage they can do, the more peaceful they become. Because if somebody chuck off them face, them know say 2 hits to a certain part of the body strategically, and you can bring down a man. You can even kill a man.
That's actually not even a state of thought for me in terms of speaking with the boxers, because what I like is I don't even hear stories of boxers getting involved with anybody chucking them off or them chucking off anybody. What I do see is that a lot of the conflict resolutions, I said, what was even mentioned by the school principals, conflict resolution starts with themselves. So the boxers being here, if they can just find a way to control their own conflict that's raging within them, which I find that they do, then they don't see anything. I mean, it shows, and that's where the big thing is. So if they're seeing those around them, seeing that those that used to have walk with attitude or walk with rage or speak in a certain way, and they now seem calm and zen-like, and that's definitely
I want
through
me a
boxing.
piece of that.
Then I find that spreads.
Peace.
And so that spreads throughout, and then that because it's easier now, because the community members that are seeing the school children here know that they all know each other, so they know that if it goes into schools, it will spread out more, because the boxers actually, like most sports people, are actually leaders, and they're intelligent,
Yes.
and they follow, and others follow by example. So I mean, getting it into schools would be, I think it would be a ripple effect, and I find that they now no longer saying that you have fighting and you have boxing.
Yes.
Fighting is a fight out a road and this and that. We don't.
This
The
is
boxing don't do that.
organized.
This is discipline and this is structure and this is, sense of self. So.
I have to tell you thank you for being my guest on PBCJ Presents. It has been very enlightening, and I'm looking forward to hopefully PBCJ doing some streaming of some of these events, because we're a streaming station. My guest on PBCJ Presents has been Stephen Bowman-Jones, head of the Jamaica Boxing Board. The topic has been the state of boxing in the nation post-COVID-19. You have been watching PBCJ Presents. I have been your host, Maya Chung. Remember to follow us on our socials at PBCJamaica. Stay tuned for more programming on this station.
We have seen partnership work at various levels, achieving macroeconomic stability, working together with the JCF. That has been a partnership that has worked, and the JCF has committed themselves and works together in a real collaborative spirit and really drives the change. And they have created such an input in STAR, because we started off social transformation, and they said there is no social transformation unless you have economic opportunities on the other side. So we were extremely guided by the JCF on that. So we had to ensure that we bring that into the equation. So we believe a partnership, all of Jamaica, because all of us live in a place where we feel like in a place of hopelessness, that can we impact the outcomes? How can we be a part of the change? Because we know Jamaica excels in pockets and does well in pockets. And we know that Jamaicans are leaders and massively talented. So how can we pull all together in a whole other approach to Jamaica that we can take on these poor social outcomes?